Ayuk right. They motion McCaffrey. Backwards pass to McCaffrey. And he's going to throw downfield wide open. Brandon Ayuk! Touchdown! San Francisco! He can run. He can catch.
Getting on fire!
Christian McCaffrey can throw. Schultz to the other. Going to throw out left. Intercepted. Diamador Lenore.
Whoa,
Dak
what a
Prescott
play!
just threw him the ball on the outcut going left to CeeDee Lamb. Diamador Lenore comes up with the game's first big play. Here's Prescott back. Has time. Throws out left, intercepted. Ball got tipped up and taken by Fred Warner. Jimmy Ward tipped the ball, and Fred Warner with the INT. They're going to give it to McCaffrey coming left. McCaffrey, touchdown! San Francisco! He has thrown one, he has caught one, he has run one.
What's going on, 49er faithful? The nitty-gritty Niners talk crew is here. It's reaction show time. 49ers versus Bears, week 14, and the Niners trample the Chicago Bears. They win in good high fashion, and I know everybody out there is feeling great, because the Niners are back in the win column, and they've snapped a 3-game losing streak. Peachy, how you feeling? Niners got the win. I'm hoping everything is going well in your neck of the woods.
Feeling great about the 49ers getting the win. We definitely look energized and everything. I'm not feeling so hot, but the 49ers seem like that they are. So it was a great win. It was a really good game. I got a little nervous at the start of the third quarter, but you know, like 49ers fashion, we rounded into form and took care of business. And the most important thing is that we're back in the 30 Purdy column. So that's really awesome.
Back in that 30 Purdy column, 38-13 is the final score of this game, and I like that, man. Brock Purdy was out there wheeling and dealing. He was 20 for 25, Peachy. He threw for 325 yards, man, and 2 touchdowns. Had a rushing touchdown get called back, unfortunately, by Ricky Pearsall. Man, hey, look, Brock Purdy looked good. He did take a few hits out there.
Yeah.
And before we get into that, let's talk about the injuries, because there were a couple of injuries that may be a little detrimental now. Starting left guard in this game, Ben Barch did leave the game with an ankle injury, right? And so he left on a football cart. We don't know what's going to go. We don't know what's actually going on. We don't have the MRI. There's not been an MRI results as of yet, so we'll probably know a little bit more about that. And then Isaac Guerrero left the game also with a sprained foot. And so I'm not sure. That hasn't been confirmed by an MRI. That's what they're thinking that it is. And so we'll know a little bit more about that. But I just wanted to talk to you. How do you feel those two injuries will do for the 49ers? I mean, they got a Thursday night game coming up, and it doesn't sound like those two guys are going to be good to go.
Yeah, I'm kind of nervous about the Guerrero one, especially. That Guerrero was so impressive when he was out there, catching the ball, running like everything. He just looked amazing today. He really did. And it kind of made me think of, the future when McCaffrey is no longer, able to play football or not a Niner, whichever one comes first and that kind of stuff. But Guerrero really was impressive out there. He really was.
Yeah, Isaac Guerrero did what he was supposed to do. The 49ers still did they run the ball for over 15? Let's see, 15, 20, 30. Yep, 40, almost 40 times, 39 times. I'd say get to the number 39. Mm-hmm. And then we'll get this win. They almost had 40 rushes in this game. Guerrero was 15 for 78 before he left the game. Had a couple of big runs, one long one for 30. Did finish with 2 touchdowns. Probably would have had 3 touchdowns, but got injured.
Yes.
And that was the when Patrick Taylor Jr. came into the game and was able to score that touchdown. So listen, our prayers are definitely going up for the players out there that got a little dinged up. I did want to talk about Brock Purdy, because Brock Purdy took a weird bent backwards hit. He came back. He came back after the next play. Like, how tough is Brock Purdy to you? Like,
No, he's really tough. I mean, he had a big dude that literally like lunged over the top of him almost. So that was really, really bad. I was proud of him for the way that he actually handled that. I hope that Brock Purdy is going to be okay. I know he came back out there. So, you know, I guess he's going to be all right. But sometimes our guys will come back out there and then you'll have that Monday where you find out stuff, revealing Monday. But with such a short week, though, that's going to be.
It is a short week. It is a short week.
Hopefully, Brock will be okay.
And we'll talk a little bit more about that. Like, you know, I think Brock, adrenaline obviously was key to this game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, now the adrenaline rush is going to be over with, and we'll see. But it didn't look like anything that happened was going to affect him in throwing the football. I just think overall his body, I'm a little concerned because his body got bent backwards, like, you know what I mean? So it's like weird, and he got hit in the neck area with his head going backwards. So they did give out the personal foul call. So I did want to shout that out to the refs for doing that job late, but they got it out, and the Niners were able to get a first down off of that. Shout out to Cole Higginson from Australia, man. Thanks for tuning in, man. Appreciate you. Live on Facebook, kicking in, man. Facebook is doing a little better job with pushing stuff out there. Shout out to Facebook. I usually don't give you Facebook shout outs. But, you know, Cole, if you want to be a part of this members of the Breezy Bunch crew right here, make sure you join the YouTube channel as well, man. And that way you can see all the cool faithful out here chatting and getting it up and giving it up, man. So I appreciate that. We do got a super chat contribution we're going to start the show off with. Jack started the show off with gifting a membership. So I would love to know who Jack's gifted the membership with. I'm not currently watching on the live stream. We're right here on this platform, so please let us know. Jax, thank you so much for the gift of the membership. And we got the first super chat contribution from 49ers_throwback says, where was this offense all year? Question. All right, so also we should thank Kyle for bringing back the tight end screens. 49ers win. Let's go. Kyle rather not be anywhere else. All right, let's talk about it, man. We got the first couple of questions of today's episode. Where was this offense all year? Peach, you want to take a shot at that, or?
I have the same question that he does. I don't know, because the only thing I can think of is that Kyle was put in a position where he had to utilize his whole entire offense because he's missing some real important pieces that are on that offense. And it sucks that it is taking this to happen, you know, for him to finally realize that he has a whole entire offense that he can play with and design plays for and do different things like that. To me, it sucks. I just hope that it's not too late is what I'm hoping that it's not. But, you know, I was looking at it wowed by everything that was going on in his offense, the way it was moving, the way it was, you know. And I know people are like, oh, well, you know, it was just the Bears. Well, the Bears have a pretty good defense. And so even though their record says one thing, their defense is pretty decent. And even if it's not, it's the way that our offense, like the play calling was what I was interested in, because we have lost to like games that we shouldn't have lost because of play calling, in my opinion, bad play calling. So we had good play calling today. Either way.
What particular play calls like that, like you felt was different from play calls like in the past? Because we talk about play calling, y'all, it comes down to the coach calling the plays, or offensive coordinator, whatever. But it also depends on the type of defenses that they're playing against. And they spoke a lot about that on the live broadcast, if you got a chance to listen to it. And some people don't listen to the live broadcast, but I actually liked Jonathan Vilma over some of the other broadcasters that we listened to. Who was the other guy? Kevin? Was that Kevin Burkhardt?
Yeah, Kevin Burkhardt.
So I actually like that pairing was pretty cool to listen to. And they spoke some stuff about. But for you, what was cool? What stood out to you from the play calling is what I'm asking.
I like the way that they started off utilizing Garendo. Like passing him the ball. I thought that threw the defense off a lot, because you have different ways that you're using your players out there. They use players to run. They use players to throw to. I just like that part that he added to that.
Yeah, it was a third down, if I'm not mistaken, and it was a halfback, nice little angle route. Garendo ran the route perfectly, and Brock got the ball out to him in space, and he made people miss and got an explosive play. So he only had 2 targets, 2 catches in the game. So it wasn't much for him in the receiving game, but that one, he had that almost identical play that Christian McCaffrey had a couple of weeks back, where the blitz was coming in Brock Purdy's face, and he had to float the ball over there. He went down and tracked that ball down, and had he not lost his footing on that, it would have probably been a receiving touchdown for Isaac Garendo, but he was able to catch that ball and kind of roll to the goal line. The Niners, finished. And here's the best part about the San Francisco 49ers offense, right? It's not about the play calling. As far as what you see, they've always dialed up explosive plays. So we've been watching that all season long. If you watch the 49ers, there have been a couple of games, maybe last week, where they didn't have a bunch of explosive plays. But this game, tons of them. I can't wait to do the explosive play breakdown on my Patreon. But here's where the Niners did what they needed to do. The Niners were 5-6 in the red zone. That's 83%.
Yeah.
That is the difference. So when you ask, where was this offense? Well, the offense has always been here. They couldn't execute in the red zone, which is why they lost those games, which is why they couldn't find ways to win certain games. And so when they're executing in the offense as efficient as they did today at 83%, that would give the Niners so many more wins just on the regular season. So to me, it was more what we saw out there we've been seeing all season long. Them moving the ball down the field on defenses, blah, 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 whatever. It's when they get to that 20 yards and into that red zone area, and then they, the one time we didn't score in the red zone, we ended up getting the penalty after a score, remember? And then it got pushed back, and we had to settle for a field goal on that drive. So the Niners had an opportunity to go 6 for 6 in the red zone and finish at 100%. But, it is what it is, man. 83% from the Niners, that's definitely a bonus and a wild card up, man. So congratulations to the 49ers. Big Daddy Niners says, how come they keep putting in Allen? How can they keep putting Allen in and he keep messing up throwing interceptions? Why not put Dobbs in and let Dobbs play? I'm not understanding Kyle's philosophy on that. You want to answer this question?
I don't understand. The only thing is that Kyle is the type of person that if he wants to do something, he's just going to do it. It doesn't matter whether it makes any sense or not. And the logic behind it, I guess, and I say that in quotes, is that Allen knows this offense better, I guess. Mm-hmm. But if you're going to go out there and throw a pick, you get out there, it's just come on now. You just can't do that. We have all this momentum going our way. Everything's looking good. And then you just make a dumb ass play.
Yeah, I gotta go back and watch it. I gotta go and see the route. I gotta go back and see what actually happened. But he did throw that interception toward the end of the game. And so, the only thing about Allen is he's been in the system longer than Josh Dobbs. And he's more experienced as far as being in the NFL than Josh Dobbs. And so I'm thinking that's what he's closer to what Brock Purdy can give from Kyle Shanahan's perspective. I think that's kind of what it is. If Brandon Allen, and we saw Allen start, and he was decent. He wasn't terrible, but he was decent. But we all want to see more of the electrifying player out there that has the ability to make plays. Now, you guys got to remember the Niners don't carry 3 quarterbacks on their roster every single week. One guy has to be made, and they do carry 3 quarterbacks on the roster, but one you get to use is that emergency quarterback. Mm-hmm. And so one has to be inactive every week. Why did they go with Josh Dobbs? It's weird because they didn't go with him last week. The only thing, and then the thing I'm thinking, Peachy, is probably maybe Allen's finger is healed or something like that. I don't know, because last week Dobbs was the backup, and Allen would have been that inactive emergency quarterback. God forbid something happened. Shout out to Miss Debbie. She just hit that like button, y'all. Blessings to you, Wayne, and Peachy. We appreciate you, Miss Debbie. It's good to hear from you. Big Daddy, you did give a super chat contribution, so I did want to shout you out on that. He says, Allen, tell Coach you want to switch with Dobbs. Man, like Peachy said, I don't think It's up to Allen. I think Kyle just trusts him as the backup at this point. And it's probably money too, like contractual money in it, like, guaranteed money. So might as well use it out. You brought him in a situation where you had the game in the bag anyway, right? Like, so the game was in the bag. He throws the interception. None of us were nervous because they were down by 25 points. So
yeah, just annoyed.
Yeah,
not nervous. Like, I mean, there was nothing that was going to stop us from winning that game. It just was annoying to just come out there after the great way that we've been playing it, and then he just comes out there and just stinks it up with a really bad interception. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, so and it was definitely annoying because the momentum, like you said, everything was going well for the 49ers. They had 0 turnovers, and in a game where we've had back-to-back games with 3 turnovers, getting 0 would have definitely helped us mentally, I thought. But unfortunately, like you said, he comes in, and that's why I said I need to see it. I need to go back, and because Brock Purdy had a overthrown ball, but it was because Ricky Pearsall cut off the route, right? And so, like, you know what I mean? So I need to see what the receiver was doing on that particular play because I don't remember who he was targeting. I was probably writing something at that point. But the good thing is the offense looked like a well-oiled machine. They were out there moving the ball at will. They also were 6 for 12 on third down. I would like to see that be a little bit better, but 50%, I'll take it. I'll take it. What I liked most about Kyle Shanahan today wasn't play calling. It was his aggressiveness.
Oh, yeah.
And so...
Yes, with the challenges.
Between that...
Going for it.
Twice on fourth down, getting it. Like that. Like, how about this one? You ready? Best play of the game. You ready? How about this one? You bring your field goal unit out. You got timeouts left. You say bump it on 4th and 1. You call a timeout. You come back out there. Patrick Taylor gets you a first down. You can't tell me Kyle Shanahan did not have an aggressive mind. Let's talk about that, because does that make it's playoff football, playoff season, is that going to make or shape Kyle Shanahan moving forward with this team with the aggressiveness? Because we see coaches in the NFL like, your Lions coach and certain coaches. I believe LaFleur is a little aggressive at times. You'll see coaches go for it on 4th down every single time. Does that help this team, or do you think it's going to hinder the team with Kyle Shanahan now having that mindset?
I feel like that it's going to help it, and kudos to him on the challenges too, because
got one wrong, got 2 right? Yeah.
The fact that he, was just ready to throw the flag and looking at things, it was really refreshing. And I think I put on social media that I wonder if he had to take a visit to the principal's office this week. Okay, for something, because it was like a different Kyle. Like, it wasn't the same Kyle. And I wonder if he kind of got his hand smacked a little bit because of what's going on with the season and everything. And not just him. I mean, after he probably put the coordinator in the same office and put in the coaches in the same office too. Because it definitely looked like somebody had some kind of a stern talking to, where they were like, look, we are better than this. I know we're missing these players. We got to do this and whatever, because we were definitely better. We still had, a couple of crazy penalties, but not like, we have had. And also not, and just the body language, like everything was just on it today. The energy, you could literally feel the energy there, that the energy was just on point. Everyone was just aggressive, and they were just ready to win and to play. And that was really awesome. It was nice to have Huff back too on that defense. It was. I wish that they would have took Jair out sooner, but that's fine. Whatever. We're not gonna squibble about that kind of stuff. But I just felt like that somebody had to have, in my opinion, like some kind of talking to this week, because
who do you think spoke to Kyle? Like, because other than Jay,
ownership.
it's just Jed. There's no ownership. So you think Jed York had a conversation? I'm kind of curious to know, like, what could Jed York say to Kyle Shanahan? I'm just curious. Like, what do you think he said to him?
I think that he just told him that we're on the verge of not making the playoffs. We've had enough, of this. And I'm sure that Jed, as an owner, I know he's embarrassed. I know he's more embarrassed than anyone else is embarrassed. But any fans or players or anything, but the way that we've been looking, because we're better than that. And I think he did. I think that he had a talk with him and was just trying to tell him, look, now Kyle's not going anywhere. Kyle was never going anywhere. The trade was hilarious. All that stuff was just fun to talk about, but Kyle ain't going nowhere. Jed didn't tell him, put his job on the line. He's not on the hot seat. He probably just had a talk with him because he probably hasn't had one for a long time. So, because we know Kyle Shanahan doesn't do anything that he doesn't want to do, but he also, you could just feel a change. You could just feel a shift in the way the offense was playing. And I feel like that Kyle was told to do that. That he was told to go back and look at some things and to change some things. I'm telling you, like, it would not surprise me. Now, I don't know because I don't have any sources. I don't have any inside information into the organization. I'm just going by what I'm seeing now. It's a totally different Kyle.
I don't know if it was totally different, Kyle. I mean, his players definitely executed today. That's what I saw. I saw players catch the ball. I saw players block. I saw players not miss blocks. Well, I did see some players not miss blocks, like Jake Brindle and Colt McKivitz. But, like, I just think the players that were out there with this game plan, they just went out there and executed. And they took advantage of the zone defense that was played against them, right? And when the teams are playing zone defense, you hit them underneath routes, you do all that type of stuff, like, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's what Kyle did. Like, he stuck to that game plan. If they're gonna overly aggressively play zone, well, we're gonna get the ball underneath to our guys, right? If they're gonna play zone, we're gonna hit them with some play action pass, especially if we're running the ball as effectively. You can't tell me that the Bears didn't come out to stop the run because Isaac Guerrero got smacked on the first play.
Yeah.
He got smacked on that next play. Then he caught a pass, right? Yeah. So the Bears came out take away the run game from Kyle Shanahan, and he found a way to stick to it by stretching the field with some of these different types of throws. I think it came down to players executing again. Like, Brock Purdy was hitting his throws. I didn't think Brock Purdy had really one bad, maybe one off short throw, two short throws, I believe, or whatnot. The one play to Juwan Jennings, that play was perfectly defended by Jalen Johnson. The throw was perfect. Jalen Johnson got the hand in, deflected the ball. The one to, I think Ricky Pearsall, obviously was an overthrow. And then he had that one where he was being pressured to Patrick Taylor. But 5 incompletions for Brock Purdy. I thought he played really well in this particular game. So I'm not saying that Kyle didn't change anything in his game plan or anything in his play calling, because we definitely saw the tight end screens be reutilized back into this system, something we haven't seen really like all season long. I think we had it a couple times. We tried to run it last week. He dropped it. George Kittle dropped the screen last week. Well, they ran it twice, at least in this game, and it was highly effective. Araceli says, can we talk about how Brock Purdy was getting the ball out on time? He didn't hold on to the ball. He didn't pat the ball. That was my thing. He was very decisive of where he was going. And that has been his kryptonite. Basically, these players do a lot, and they get in their own way. They just need to go out there and just play football. So I think the team, Peachy, is good when they just go out and they stop trying to do the most. You know what I mean? Like, they just go out there and do what you do.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I want to say something because this is nitty gritty. And I do got to get this off my chest real quick. Kyle Shanahan is not above reproach. He's a freaking coach. Like, he's literally one of 32 NFL head coaches. If these other coaches can be called to the carpet and called into the office whenever crap's not going right, then he's one of them. So all these people that be thinking that Kyle just like runs the 49ers, like, he don't run the 49ers. They have ownership. They have the Yorks and they have the DeBartolos that are like that run this team. And it annoys the crap out of me when every time somebody says something about, a Kyle and whatever, just like he cannot be chastised, like he cannot be questioned. Do you realize that whenever Kyle Shanahan went to Jed York and told him that he made a mistake by drafting Trey and that he had Brock and that Brock was better, like he got cursed out. Basically, like really, really bad. You guys that are out here thinking that Kyle Shanahan runs every single thing on the San Francisco 49ers are crazy. Kyle Shanahan has the players, but I'm talking about the organization, the way that it goes. You guys are crazy if you think that Jed York or even his dad or whatever can't take him in and be like, look, you're embarrassing us. You're going to start costing us money. Because when you start messing with the money, then that is definitely when ownership comes into play. Because we have been an embarrassment. I mean, I get tired of every single day watching national TV, and we're a joke. And so all I'm saying is that Kyle Shanahan can be called to task just like any other coach. He is not above reproach. There is no coach in this National Football League that is above reproach. At the end of the day, he is one coach out of 32 head coaches.
You can't. Nah. He's not just one coach above out of 32 coaches. He's the coach that's got a nice little track record with the team that was fucking relevant prior to him getting here. So that gives him grace. There's something called grace. Now, I'm not saying he's not above reproach, but Kyle gets a lot of grace here in San Francisco because he's made the team relevant. He has the team competing. And all the national media talk that you hear about this team, the first thing they talk about is the injuries. Like, this team is decimated with a bunch of injuries at certain players. So that right there is going to save Kyle Shanahan's job. Now, did he get talked to? Probably. I don't know. I don't really give a fuck. I don't really care. All I want is this team to come out there and compete. And that's what they did on today by whipping the ass out of the Chicago Bears. That they did that, and I want them to do it every single week. Every single week. And they did it with a good game plan, and those players played today. They look different. The players look different. The execution was better. You talked about the energy. So let's stay with the energy. The energy was on point from special teams, coaching, defense, first half defense to the second half defense was different, but the energy stayed intact. Maybe it was Huff. Maybe Huff was a key piece. We talk about Nick Sorensen, and I was talking about this earlier on Bleacher Report. As much as I dislike Nick Sorensen as the defensive coordinator, it's kind of unfair to not give him a shot without having his full arsenal. It's kind of unfair. Not that I want him here, but I can't wait to see what it would be like when he has players out there that know what they freaking doing, opposed to developing players. It takes time to develop young guys. We know that. We're expecting when we draft a player for them to come in and be an all-pro. That's not how it works. That's what we expect, though. You know what I'm saying? So, like, Hufanga being back, just him being on the football field, it brought a different energy to the defense. He had a big smack tackle in this game, and I'm like, yes, there's the pop we've been missing. And I know we get it from Malik, but it's different when it's from Hufanga. You could tell his cerebral game is way stronger than anybody else's. And the only reason why Jair Brown, I felt like, came in the game to relieve or rotate was just for that. He was on a pitch count. And the moment he came in, they picked on Jair Brown. Jair Brown gets missed, lost in the sauce, gets a touchdown. So, like, maybe him there. And the good news is Sorensen's not only going to get back, he got back Huff, who's trending up now all of a sudden after his first game. But what's going to happen Thursday night? He's going to get Bosa and Greenlaw back.
That's right.
Now you're talking about him having a complete stacked pieces of defense to where he can trust those players to be in the right positions at every single moment, right? And so now maybe that improves Fred Warner's game. I thought the run defense was good. 68 yards. I'll take it. That's what they gave. 68 yards. 4 sacks. 4? Who had sacks today? 2 from
Floyd.
I thought Floyd had 1. Other guy. No, 5 sacks, right? How many sacks?
Floyd had 2.
Had 1. Collins had 1.
Okay.
What's our guy? Gross Matos had 3.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. Gross Matos had 3.
Am I missing anybody? 6 sacks. So maybe Floyd had 2. Maybe you're right. Maybe he did have 2.
I thought Floyd had 2, but I could be wrong.
I know Gross Matos had 3. So my point is, we didn't expect Hufanga to play this well, but I'm expecting these guys to come in and just, whether they're on a pitch count, rotation count, just to be out there. It changes the way offenses play football. You know what I'm saying? So, we're watching these offenses come out and they're attacking us here, they're attacking us there. So you get Hufanga back, you switch to cover 1 man defense, and it's a totally different result when you have cover 1 man defense with Jair Brown or cover 1 man defense with Malik Mustafa. The Niners like to cover 1 man where they're playing man down there and you got your high safety at the top. They love that style of defense. And when they switch to cover 2 with the 2 safeties in the back, it makes them a liability in the run game because now you can have more guys in the box. Notice how they were able to play well against the run. So they play good zone. They play good man defense. They really didn't get torched. 160-something total yards. Today's defense, 162 total yards. Today's defense was a breath of fresh air, and you're only going to get pieces back. Oh, I got a question for you. Do you think the defensive unit plays better with or without Nick Bosa? This was Bosa's 3rd game missed. God bless you. Or 2nd game missed. I can't remember.
It was his second game missed, and it's crazy because I do as a unit. Yep.
So do you think Nick Bosa, if he plays on Thursday, do you think he hinders the defense, or do you think the defense will be finally tuned up to win one-on-one matchups? Because Nick Bosa's going to take. I was about to call him Nick Floyd. He's going to take those doubles and triples.
Yeah. I hope that that's what happens. I hope that when he comes out there that everybody just lets him do that, because then if he does that and the defense remains the same, then our defense should be fine against the Rams. But I get it, because he it always seems like that when he's not out there, that our defense seems to find a way to kind of work together. Now, we had some slip ups with Ward and and whatever, but that's for another show, I guess. And but I felt having Huff out there helped a lot, like I said earlier. So maybe getting our guys back, especially if Greenlaw plays, that's definitely going to also help our offense, and our defense against the Rams offense. And we definitely need that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with Filthy Casual here. This is the bonus. You get Nick Bosa back. If without having Bosa, it allowed us to see who these other guys are, but it weakened the rotation.
Right.
And so when you get Bosa back, it's going to strengthen the rotation, because now Bosa goes back to where he was. He's going to draw the doubles, maybe the triple teams or whatever. He's still winning his pass rush rate, right? But now these other guys have gotten into full swing. You took Gross Matos, right? Injuries all season long. Remember, he started the season on the IR. Remember? He finally is getting into football rhythm and shape. So if he goes back and reverts to depth, and we know he can win us one-on-ones, that's a bonus for the San Francisco 49ers with Nick Bosa out there. And now you can rotate these guys, him, maybe Leonard Floyd. I still would like to see a little bit more from our guy, Bill Jr. But you'll get a better rotation of these guys, and they'll be more fresh coming off the bench. And if he played really well, he got dinged up in this game earlier, but he did come back in the game. Yetur Gross-Matos. But just to watch him finish this game strong with 3 sacks, I thought that was on point. And I think it's only going to get better. So we talk about these next matchups. I don't care about anything past the Rams at this point, because right now you just need to beat the Rams. The Niners beat the Rams. They control certain situations. They both have a 4% chance of winning the NFC West at this moment. But if the Niners could beat the Rams and kind of get a little help from some of these other teams, which they got zero help from Buffalo. Buffalo had one job and couldn't get it done, Josh Allen. But that's another conversation. But I think the Niners, they put themselves in a situation to where they look like, as if you said, if we got a new, not a new Kyle, but a new version of Kyle that we haven't seen, if we get that same Kyle Shanahan version against the Rams, you're going to be pretty confident in beating the Rams, right? Because if you're getting that type of Kyle aggressiveness, play calling, are you back to like really full in on this 49ers team? Or like, do you feel like you're still worried about the Rams because they already beat us once?
Yeah, because when we played the Rams, we didn't have this aggressive Kyle and this Kyle that was out there today. He wasn't out there then. So whatever the reason why that he's like he is now, I do have faith in the 49ers if we keep seeing this Kyle Shanahan and these coaches coach the way that they're coaching right now. We definitely have an opportunity.
It's going to be 100%. Different. It's going to be different, though, because let's say we get bad news about Garindo. Let's say we get bad news about Barch as well, but the good news is you'll get Aaron Banks back because he should be back next week. So that can cancel out. And I don't want any player gone. I'm not saying that. But let's just say Garindo's not your guy. Now it's Patrick. So running the ball, it's Patrick Taylor, Israel Abanaconda, and Keyshawn Vaughn. They're gonna have to sign another running back, depending on how severe this injury is. I don't know what. Can we look up the time frame of a sprained foot? Is that what they said he has? Like, is that like 2 weeks, 4 weeks?
Probably 2 weeks, I hope.
Yeah. So I'm just curious to know. Like, I mean, 2 weeks. Rams, there's no way he's playing Thursday unless
because of the short turnaround,
right, which will only make it worse if he did go out there and try to play, like, you know what I mean? I just PG, I'm excited. I'm happy that the team didn't just beat this team. Like, I'm happy that they made a statement in the Chicago Bears. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm happy that they made this a statement game. Because everybody was coming into this game, and you want to talk about people. Everybody was coming to this game talking about, oh, yeah, the Bears, they've only lost by 1 point in the last 4 or 5 games, even though they're on a 6-game losing streak.
Yeah.
They started the season 4-2. They fired Eberflus. Now the offense should be better. And their offense didn't do diddly squat against this 49ers defense.
Right.
Diddly squat. How many yards they have in the first half? 10?
9 or 10. They barely had any. They really didn't even move the ball until they started the third quarter. Was when they moved the ball. I don't know if they made. I guess they made adjustments or whatever.
They made adjustments,
and was able to move the ball. But up until then, it was about 9 or 10.
Yeah, they made the adjustments because the Niners were playing. They started to play off the ball, like the zone, so they were giving up underneath stuff. So Caleb started to recognize that, and he just started throwing the quick pass game. Started to get efficient. It was 9 yards. Thank you. So they were starting to become efficient. Thank you guys for the 9 yards, right? So they were starting to become efficient out there, which started to move the ball. I can't remember if we got a defensive penalty on that drive, but I don't think so. I think they scored on that drive, and then the touchdown was given up by Charvarius Ward because of there was a miscommunication out there between him and whoever was playing in the nickel spot. So I don't know if it was I don't know if it was Diamador Lenore was out there on that goal line stance or if they brought in Isaac Yiadom. I don't know. I got to go back and watch the film. But on that play, you kind of saw him come in, and that quick step in, that's all Caleb Williams needed in that short field. He threw a perfect ball. I thought it was a perfect fade route. Yeah. Great catch from Rome Odunze, and he just got both feet in bounds. And I never understand why, like a defender, right? I'm not a defender. I never understand why. If you see the person jump, I'm giving the strongest stiff arms to push it behind out of bounds. Like, you're not coming in bounds, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know why, like, our defenders don't think like that, but, you know, I'm thinking like that. Like, that's just me, though. That's just me. But what's some of the downsides in this big victory, this 25-point game victory? What's some of the things you feel like the Niners still need to work on, that they need to improve from this game as they take on, you know, the NFC Los Angeles Rams?
One thing that was kind of disheartening to see is poor Garendo, because he definitely needs to have time to work on his pass protection. But with him being hurt,
that's the only downside.
I know, exactly.
Well, I mean, when you're not a starting running back, you're not going to get the reps to pass protect.
We talked about before. Yeah. That there's a lot that you're going to be lacking because you're not going to be practicing that. So,
and it's not like he gave up the protection. I mean, he just got ran over, you know, and you've seen it. I've seen it all week. He just got ran over a couple times. But there was one play he did definitely help out and allow Brock to step up in the pocket to make the throw. But it's when they sent the blitzers.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And he just didn't have the right stance. So you're right. Like, that's one thing he has to work on for sure. That was rookie running backs in general. That's, you know what's funny? That's what made Elijah Mitchell special.
Yes.
He came in as a rookie, as a pass protector. And then we want to know why Kyle Shanahan wants and trusts only certain people out there with the football. This is one of the reasons why, ladies and gentlemen. If you can't protect your quarterback, it's not running backs it's not just about running the ball security, vision, hitting the right hole. You want to be able to throw with your running back out there. And if you can't pass pro, it hinders the offense just a little freaking bit. Just a little bit. Let's see if anybody else got any worries out there from the 49ers team. Let's talk about Jake Moody. Felicia says Moody need to stop giving the ops good field position.
Wow. Yeah. What was up with that today?
I think it was by design.
That's crazy.
I do.
I never even seen him do that before. And then they were talking about that twice in one game.
That's what I'm saying. I think he was attempting a certain type of a kick and it didn't work. Because sometimes they ask, it's not just to boot the ball out of the end. You don't want to just boot the ball into the end zone. You want to kick that ball to that 1 yard line and get your guys down there to prevent from getting to the 25, right? Like, so I'm thinking he was trying something and it didn't work because you saw him kick the ball into the end zone several times in this game. So either the ball slipped or he was attempting a special type of kick or something was off. I think he was asked to do some things to test out against this team. That's me personally. But he did hit his field goal. So at some point, y'all got to shut the fuck up about Jake Moody. Like, real talk. Like, either he just if he makes his field goal kicks, we don't talk about him making his kick. But now we're going to talk about him squib kicking these balls with these stupid ass new rules, right? Like, it's weird, right? But it is what it is, man. Jake Moody, you get 0 passes from the San Francisco 49ers faithful, bro. Like, I don't know why players go out there and just continue to do dumb stuff to make people talk about him. Like, I feel like he got 2 jobs. Job number 1, kick the ball into the end zone. Job number 2, make your field goals. Like, that's it. Those are your only jobs. And
it was really bizarre that it happened twice. And so it was
honestly, I
forgot when they were talking about the last time that they seen it. I think Vilma was talking about what year it was. I can't remember what year he said it was the last time that he actually saw that happen twice in one game.
I mean, it's the first year of the rules. What the fuck is he talking about?
No, he's talking about the kicking it short to
any other time it's part of the game. It's that's why I said it's game plan. This year there are rules. You have to kick it to a certain spot or it's going to be a penalty. It's never been a penalty before unless it goes out of bounds. That's a dumb statement. Pickers kick the ball short all the time because they give their guys time to get down there and do the field. It's not just about kicking it and then letting them start at the 25. If you can kick it to the 1 and they start at the 10, it's a win. But this year, there's a set of rules saying you got to kick it to a certain area or it's to the 40, so you might as well just kick it in the end zone and give him the ball at the 25, I believe. I don't get it. But okay, Vilma. That's a cool one. Miami guy. Gotcha. So, I mean, that probably was one of the biggest downsides. We got to talk about the penalties. A lot of offensive false starts, right? One holding call, and then a bunch of false starts. 7 penalties in this game.
Yeah.
7 penalties. The crazy thing is we had 7 penalties for 31 yards. They had 2 penalties for 30 yards.
All right.
Like, ain't it crazy?
Yeah.
It's the type of penalties. Do you think Kyle Shanahan is like ripping them a new butthole about the penalties, even though the yardage, even though it didn't cost them, it did cost them a drive. It did cost them scoring. Mm-hmm. But do you think he's still like, he's going to get on them for these penalties?
I think so. Because it's still about discipline at the end of the day, and that's one thing that we
delay a game.
Yeah, that was wild right there. I don't know what was going on there.
Well, there's always a delay. Like, the Niners are probably good for at least a delay a game and a 12 men on defense at least once a game, right?
Yeah, we got like and then taking the early timeout. What happened there? When the game had just started, it was like at the 12-minute mark.
Because I got you. So on that play, I think we scored a touchdown after the timeout too, by the way. So on that play, the motion that Debo was running, it just happened too late in the play cut because he needed to go back. They ran the same play. They did the same exact thing on the next play, and it was a touchdown. So on the second time they did it, Debo ran into motion, and remember, he came back, which allowed them to free up whoever they did. I think it was Juwan Jennings, if I'm not mistaken, or I can't remember who scored the first touchdown, but that's what happened. So they had to call the timeout to prevent that delayed game that early in the game. So they wanted that, and then the second timeout happened when he challenged the play. He lost that challenge though, but that was like the perfect timeout. I mean, because you might as well challenge the play. You're going to call timeout anyway, so just use a challenge, right? So that was kind of smart on Kyle Shanahan. You know what I'm saying? So, I know everybody not hanging their hat on this victory because it was just against the Bears, and the Bears aren't a winning team, and the Niners still haven't beaten a winning team yet, right? We haven't beaten a winning team.
Not yet.
So a lot of people aren't really high on the Niners. And look, I get it. You know, it is what it is. But you got to find a way to take the good with the bad and the ugly. And the Niners just beat a team that was coming in here that should have lost games, that should have won games, when that point differential was different. Remember, they lost their last few games by like 1 point or less. And so a lot of people weren't even giving, a lot of the analysts out there weren't even giving the Niners an opportunity to win this game. What was the point spread? 4 points at one point to win this game?
Mm-hmm.
They weren't giving us the opportunity to win this joint. You know what I mean? But what I got from this game, Peachy, was execution on every facet except for the kickoffs. I thought execution was like I said, I'm guessing to why Jake Moody did that. I've never seen it either, and I can't explain it other than maybe he was asked to experiment something, because he kicked it off first perfect, and then he had those two, and then all the other ones were great except for two. So it just doesn't make sense So, or maybe he was just bad. I don't know. But that, to me, execution was on point. I thought the 49ers, ran the ball very successfully. They had a plethora of running backs that they used to get the run game going. They got the attempts up to 39 yards. They rushed the ball. The Niners finished this game with 452 total yards. That's what I'm talking about. 321 in the air, and obviously they rushed for 131 as a collective group. Isaac Guerrero almost had 100 yards. He's 22 yards shy from 100 yards. Probably would have got 100 yards, first 100-yard career game. Did finish the game with 2 TDs. Jawan Jennings looked stellar out there as well. Deebo Samuel helped move the chain every now and then. George Kittle was my favorite player on offense, and I just need a game where they just always get George Kittle active. What are your thoughts on George Kittle?
I'm so glad that they got him involved. It's crazy because you have some people that forget about Kittle because sometimes he just disappears in this offense. And then now you see like all the things that Kittle can do and how amazing that this tight end is and why he's still one of the best ones in the National Football League. And that's all he wants. And I figured they were going to get him involved after what he said last week. So I figured that it was going to be a Kittle. It was going to be a nice Kittle game there. So props to Kittle, man.
Definitely props to Kittle. Get him the ball, find him over the middle.
Yes.
How you got to use him? Like, get George Kittle involved.
Mm-hmm. Early and often.
Early and often. He's the energy that the offense needs if something is going wrong. Like, he's that energy you need to keep it moving, like to keep those chains moving. 151 yards for George Kittle. George Kittle was 6 for 6 today. 151 yards. Damn, he just needed a touchdown, and I would have racked up in fantasy football.
Yeah, me too. That's what I was going to say. That's what I was missing was that.
Leslie in the building. What's going on,
Hey, Leslie?
So I am happy with the win. I'm also happy I have been sober for 32 years. Woo! Round of applause for that. Because that guy who hit Purdy like that, I'd be arrested for trying to get onto the field to beat that guy up while drunk. Listen, he ain't just hit Purdy. Like, he bent Purdy backwards with a neck slam. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, from the neck to the back. Exactly. Like, stuff that only like little kids could do because they a little flexible. Like, you know what I'm saying? I know for sure Purdy gonna be a little sore come tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
We talked about that earlier in the show. Purdy's gonna be sore tomorrow for sure. So I'm with you though, Leslie. I didn't like it. I don't think the players liked it. But it wasn't illegal. But it did get the flag. Like, you know what I mean? It did get the flag. And the dude was trying. He jumped in the air, and he was trying to defend the pass, and then he just landed and it was like a wrestling movie. Like, grabbed Brock by the neck, and he was trying to break his fall at the same time, and it just all happened. And luckily, Purdy came out of that unscathed, and we got the first down, and we were able to score after that. So that's good news. Hope Brock Purdy's going to be doing well. Snappy G says, we got to play Thursday, better heal fast. We got to play Thursday, better heal fast. He's probably talking about Purdy. I'm just, PG, we talked about Isaac Guerrero. I know Ben Barch probably isn't going to play. Isaac Guerrero is going to be a question mark for sure, but are you confident, with the 49ers? Because the offensive line seemed better. Oh, and I got to shout out my man, Spencer Burford, who came in to the game and held it down at the left guard spot. Are you how confident are you against this Rams team?
Like I said, as long as that energy's there and Kyle's doing what he's doing and the coaches are continuing to do what they're doing, I feel very confident against this Rams team. Yep.
Yeah, I'm confident. The last time we played them, we'll break this stuff down throughout the week. The last time we played them, though, we were winning.
Yeah. Ronnie
Bell drops a wide open pass, and we end up losing that game by 1 point, right? It was weird. It was weird. So, that was without Christian McCaffrey, without some players. I think we had Brandon Ayuk at that time. I don't think he got injured in that game, so he was here. So it's gonna look a little different. But if the Niners are on the same page, PG, I really think they made a statement today.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if the Rams put up 44 points against the Buffalo Bills. You know what? I feel like the San Francisco 49ers would have put up 44 points against the Buffalo Bills if it wasn't for the snow. And I'm not blaming it on the snow, but just imagine if that game was in California opposed to being in the snow where, they tiptoeing around. Like, just saying, like, it seemed like the Niners game plan was
we had
put their foot in the ground and drive.
Right.
And unfortunately, they couldn't do that there.
It's like we had talked about earlier, though, about the AFC East. When you have a team that's pretty much on lock, even though they're still trying to fight for that number 1 seed, but when they have something locked up,
yeah, you're right. Good
Buffalo
point.
made, they could have, kind of slacked up a little bit and then thought about it and decided to try to get in gear, and it was too late when they tried to do that.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Because Buffalo had the AFC East already on lock after they beat us. So they clinched their playoff spot and they clinched the division.
Mm-hmm.
They come out here, they play with their food. They get punched in the mouth early, and they didn't want to lose, but they had to kind of scrap back. And unfortunately, they lost by 2 points. All right. So again, we play in the Rams. I just don't see Kyle Shanahan losing twice to Sean McVay in the same season. I don't see it happening. I really don't. And I think from what we saw from today's game alone, they're going to do a couple of things. One, they're going to find a way to run the ball. And I think that was key. I like the Rams defense a little bit. It's kind of like the same now that I think about it. I think they got a great up front. They got okay subpar linebackers, and they got a okay subpar secondary, right? Kyle's going to try to take advantage of that. And you got full throttle George Kittle, full throttle. Was that the game Jawan Jennings went off in that game against the Rams the first time? Can't remember. Remember the game he had like 200-plus yards, and we still lost the game, and he didn't want to speak?
Oh, I think that was.
Was that game?
Let me see if that was that game or not. I'm trying to look it up and see.
And Troy is correct. They still have the 1 seed to play for. Right. You're 100% correct because Kansas City, if they win tonight, they'll currently be the 1 seed. And I think Kansas City will clinch their division if they win tonight against the Chargers. So you're right. They still had that to play for. So they didn't want. I'm just saying they came out here, and I think they played with their food, bro. You know what I mean? They did have the division clinched. They were in the playoffs, so they got a seeding in the playoffs. I mean, they got a berth spot clinch. I'm sorry. But, they just came out here and they played with a team that's scrappy. You got to be careful when you play against scrappy teams.
Mm-hmm. It was the Rams game. He had 175 yards in that game.
Man, that dude balled out.
Yeah, because he was mad because he's going to lose. Because Stafford threw that deep pass to what's his name? Because they didn't have no Nakua. They didn't have Cup.
Different game. They had it was to Tutu Atwell,
right?
If I'm not mistaken,
yes.
He caught that deep pass.
Mm-hmm.
But the Niners are going to have to force them to be. The Niners got to continue to to eliminate those explosive plays. And you're right. They didn't have Cooper Kupp. They didn't have Puka Nacua. Those guys look like they're back into form. But if our defense can come out and play the way they did today, because the Bears got some receivers. Let's not act like the Bears don't have weapons. The difference between the Bears and the Rams is the quarterback.
Right.
That's the difference. DJ Moore is just electrifying. Keenan Allen can move the chains. Roman Dunze can stretch the field, and we watched Roman Dunze stretch the field. And
I like Odunze.
Yeah, and on that one drive, we saw all those players get involved. They didn't have overall good games, but the quarterback's the difference. Matthew Stafford is that dude, and so he makes the Rams that much more competitive. So it's not going to be an easy game. Not 100%. It's not going to be an easy game, but they're going to have to travel up north to take on a team that's scrapping. That's scrappy. God bless you. To take on a team that's scrappy. And I think the Niners right now are definitely in that phase where they're in a fight and they're going to win the fight by any means necessary without being called dirty. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, without cheating, like, without, like, getting, like, you know, you watch karate or whatever, doing those disqualifying moves or whatever. They're gonna find a way. And so, like, it's gonna be tough, but I definitely liked what I saw from the Niners. Ann says the Rams look scary tonight because they put up 44 points. I mean, the Niners look scary too. They put up 38, not too far from the 44. And I tell you
might
what,
put it up if
we bench Brock. We benched the whole damn offense.
Right.
We benched the offense with 5 minutes to go. That's what I'm saying. 5 minutes to go. We would have put up 45. We'd have put up more points. You know? So, look, the Niners just got to figure out a way to continue to scrap. And it's crazy because if you beat the Rams, we'll be 7-7. I think they'll be 7-7. This is weird.
Yep. We'll decide to see how it plays out. It's also a Thursday night football game, and things get weird on Thursday night. So.
Oh, you're right.
Expect the unexpected.
You're right.
So we'll see.
Well, guys, we won. It's the only thing that mattered. Shout out to everybody that tuned into the live overreaction show. There's nothing really to overreact about because we kind of whipped that tail. We did what we needed to do. Things we still need to work on. We're praying for the players that got injured in this game. We're hoping their injuries aren't too severe and that they heal and rest and be ready to go. Thursday night, good news is we're probably going to get guys back. 49ers Throwback said Dre Greenlaw looks like he's going to make his season debut here. Shout out to 49ers Throwback. That's going to be cool. And we could get Greenlaw, Bosa. You get your starting offensive line back, Aaron Banks. This has got to be all set up. Aaron Banks, Trent Williams. Oh, and they're healthy? And the key thing is if they practice all week. Pay attention to practice. If they practice all week, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. I'm very confident in the 49ers. I always have been. Despite their issues, their flaws and all. But I think they're gonna go out there and put out a good showing on Thursday Night Football. Brock Purdy only has one loss in prime time, and that was on Monday Night Football against the Buffalo Bills in inclement weather. Guess what? There won't be any inclement weather, I believe, in Santa Clara on Thursday Night Football. It is a short week. She said, "Oh my goodness, I hope not." Right. I hope not. But here's the thing: if the Niners do what you said earlier in the show, Peachy, show up with the attitude, the energy of Kyle Shanahan, can keep that aggression. If the defense and the defense just played really sound football. It wasn't that they were overly aggressive. I only saw a couple of blitzes. And the one time they decided to spy the quarterback, it burnt them for a touchdown with Jair Brown. Also, Hufanga wasn't in the game. So Hufanga back another week. He'll be on the football field a little bit longer. So a lot of things I think will go in the favor of the San Francisco 49ers, being that they're going to be at home, and I know the faithful are going to be out there, man. It's going to be crazy, man. All right? It's going to be – I meant Sunday Night Football, not Monday Night Football. It's going to be crazy or whatnot. So get geared up, man. Got a short week. Got a lot of stuff we got to get out. And until the next time, man, keep it faithful to the Bay. We out this joint. Peace.
Hey.
Breezie, this that 9
Mo's nose. Peachy, it's about that time. Everybody turn your TVs on. The Mo's nose, Peachy, Breezie, and fair to God. They keep it nitty gritty when they bring you 9 to talk. We two gorilla, silverback, 9 silver.
You know it's busting good discussion cause we get it in. Every time, we grinding, I was 8 to 10. We always play to win. The faithful going hard. It's WayneBreezie, Peachy, Mo's nose, and fear to God. Let's get it.
Nitty gritty, this the Niners talk. Don't like it, better take a walk. Nitty gritty, this the Niners talk. We outline players up in chalk. Nitty gritty, this the Niners talk. Don't like it, better take a walk. Nitty gritty, this the Niners talk. Niners talk. Nitty gritty, this the Niners talk.